Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to be doing one of my quickly becoming favourite methods of colouring. This is sort of like a no outline, I guess. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but basically for this one, we can make a lot of things work. Whether you want to put a floral image in here, whether you want to put in a foliage image in here, use what you've got. You could even draw something actually, which would be just fine. But I'm going to be using this, a Peony of Contrast stamp. This is a big, beautiful stamp, and I've already done some videos using this one. It's quickly becoming a favorite, mainly because of its beautiful, big, wide open spaces. This one can cover a card front in no time, and really it just leaves room for fun techniques. So I am going to be using some masking strips to mask off the edge here. Now, bear in mind, I never really know what I'm doing, and I'm sort of just winging it and having fun creating, and I happen to film it all. So, you know, some steps you could probably skip or go back on or do quicker or do slightly different, and that's okay. But basically, I'm going to stamp this image down, but I don't want it to go to the outside of my cardstock. So I probably could have gotten away with 2 masking strips here. I am going to come in from the bottom left-hand corner. Again, you could do the entire top. You could come in from just one of the corners. You could do a few different variations of where this one's coming in. I'm stamping it in some VersaFine Onyx black ink. I'm going to whip on some superfine clear embossing powder just so that this makes it easier for me to color. It's going to keep that color inside of the image, particularly when I've got multiple petals and things going on here. Now, in my opinion, you can kind of see enough of the flower to see even what kind of flower it is, but you don't need a big image here by any means. This is just the one that I have, and so, you know, it's what I'm using. So we are going to take off the masking. I will put it back on in a minute, but for the minute thinking about coloring this, I'm going to use a couple of oxides and then just a dark Carnation from Gina, which is a dye ink. So I'm using the Spun Sugar, Worn Lipstick, and Dark Carnation inks. And then I'm going to spritz this down with water because, as I said, that's part of the reason why I heat embossed it. 1, so that none of my black ink can run anywhere, and 2, so that that makes watercoloring this an absolute breeze. Now, for me, it doesn't matter how you go about coloring these images in. What I quite like about this is that there's sort of no... like there's a loose watercolor edge line to this, and that's what I'm aiming for, because you did see me spray this down with the continuous spray in the beginning. So my cardstock is wet, which means that my ink has the potential to obviously run in lots of different directions. So I am trying to keep it sort of nice and wispy and free flow and not perfectly straight there along the edges where it sort of moves into the border, but I also don't want it to color the border. I do want the border to stay as clean-ish possible. So it's very, very easy when it comes to layering up these. It's, you know, no skill involved. I truly am just dropping the color in and letting the water do the work. I pretty much aim for the bottom of each one of the petals. That's where the one from behind it is going to be creating kind of the shadow. It doesn't really matter, honestly, if you have it as perfection. It's very loose and very just, you know, watercolory kind of look. And this is my style because I'm not confident in coloring bits and pieces like this, and so, you know, true to form. So I just do it my way, and that's okay. So then I couldn't help I didn't want to waste the ink, so I'm going to add in some splatters as well. And then another good thing to do would be to pop this down onto a piece of cardstock and smush it in there, and this is going to become the background to another card that you can create. But for the minute, I am also going to create some faux splatter, so I literally just paint in some little dots as well. I'm using a pretty small paintbrush, and usually the smaller the paintbrush ends up being the smaller the drops that you have, and so I'm just trying to make sure that there's a range of different sizes there. At this point, I'm going to make this a birthday card, and so I'm picking up a sentiment. This is the Simply Birthday by Dear to be Artsy. Thinking about where I can fit this little sentiment in, I truly think you could have a big sentiment, a little sentiment, you could make it staggered, you could have it stacked, you could have it side by side. So many, like you could just put it really anywhere here. There's a lot of options depending on what sentiments you've got. I feel like you could definitely make one work. This stamp set has plenty of options that I can reach for, but I'm just going with a beautiful scripty happy birthday. I'm going to stamp it in the same black ink that I stamped the flower in, and this just keeps everything all the same. And then from here we're adding in some details. So I'm going to sort of draw in a border. This is almost like a wonky border, but I'm just going to do a singular line, and I'm just carrying on from the outline image of the peony. So I'm not going behind it. I quite like the look of this. And then this is where I decided to put some of the masking back on. But I'm actually just going to pop it a little bit, like just a millimeter or two back from the edge. And this is how I'm going to create a matting layer for my card front here. I'm going to do this in black, just with like a Sharpie kind of pen, and it truly is just like coloring in along. You could actually add in a proper black piece of cardstock, which would become a great matting layer as well. I just decided to keep this all on the same cardstock, and that saves layers and weight and just a nice easy way. I'd already got the masking tape, I'm reusing it, so I may as well, and I can just eyeball it so that it's roughly even all the way along. It's a very, very fine, thin matting layer. This is definitely one of the quicker cards I have made recently, and if you enjoy this style of card making, finding new ways to use the supplies that you have, I would love to see you over on my website, natashafootecreative.com. It's also a great way that you can support me as a creator. I post all of these videos here on YouTube, obviously for free. All of the videos that are on my website are exclusive to the website and won't ever be on YouTube. I always aim to give tips and tricks and hopefully just more ways that we can use what we have, remembering old techniques, bringing in new techniques, and having fun creating, and remembering that we don't have to have things absolutely perfect. There are also on my website lots of free downloads. There are printables for you with sentiment sheets, there are cut and goes, there are a whole host of bits and pieces. I even have an A to Z of techniques that are all have clickable links that you can click on them, and it takes you to a video literally showing you the technique in action. So just in case you want to go and check that out, it's all over on the website, natashafootecreative.com. But other than that, for this one, I chose to add on a second wee matting layer of the same, I just used the worn lipstick color. And then this is going to go onto a square card base, which is going to be 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 inches. A really easy, happy, gorgeous card to put together. Lots of different color combinations that you could be using as well. So I love a good versatile layout that's not too tricky, nice and quick, and we can make it suit whatever we are doing. So thank you so much for joining me. As I said, I would love to see you over on my website, natashafootecreative.com. I will leave a link in the description box down below. But other than that, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye.